Hi, I'm here to show you the very last room on floor 13 of this haunted hotel. When people hear that it's the last room, they always ask, well, what's past that? Like, what's beyond that last room? And I think most people expect me to say something like a secret passage, or maybe a trap door to another floor, maybe a long drop into the abyss. I mean, we did have one woman come through. She was staying in 1343, and she told us that she heard some noises one night. And then she got up to investigate. She said she found the door to room 1344, which is our last room, and she tried to open it, but it was locked. So she started knocking. And when she did that, she could hear like scratching sounds from behind the door. And so she called down to the front desk and she asked if anybody was in there.
Oh.
And we told her no, that room is never occupied. And then she went back to her room, and the scratching sounds followed her back to room 1343. So that was interesting. And since then, nobody has ever dared to try opening that door again. Now, one thing I should mention is that there are two sets of doors leading to this room. 1344. One set is over here in the hallway on the south side of the floor. That's the keycard access door. And then there's another set of doors at the end of the hall that leads to the stairwell. And these doors right here are not keycard accessible. Anybody can walk in here and open these doors, which they do all the time. People like to come up here and take pictures because it's like the forbidden room. We've had prom proposals happen in front of this door. We've had couples making out in front of this door. It's a popular spot for shenanigans. Now, when you go through this set of doors, it will take you to the stairwell. And the reason why there's a second set of doors to this room is because the fire marshal requires us to have two means of egress. That's like two ways to get out of every room in case there's a fire. So this is the second way to get out of room 1344. And these doors are designed to open from the stairwell side, but they're locked from the room side. Now, the lock on these doors is a really old, like antique-style lock that doesn't have a deadbolt. So technically, if you were in that room and there was a fire and you needed to get out, you could push that door open from the inside and escape. But still, according to the fire marshal, that is an acceptable lock. I don't know why I don't like it. I think it's weird. Maybe someday we'll upgrade that room and we'll put in a new lock. When I first started working here, I used to get freaked out thinking about the fact that if there was a fire in that room, the person would have to literally push that door open with their hand in order to get out. I used to get freaked out thinking about that, but now I'm desensitized to it. Now, since these doors lead to the stairwell, they do allow natural light to come in here, and that makes the plants grow. That's great, however. The downside is that sometimes we have guests that are staying in the rooms. Above this one on floor 14, and they complain that it's too bright in the morning because of all the sunlight that is coming through these doors. And we always tell them, well, you should have booked a room on a lower floor. It's brighter on the lower floors. And they always say, oh, I didn't know that. But also, sometimes people will book floor 14 because they want to be above all the noise. And they think that it's going to be quieter up here, but it's really not. We often have parties in the ballroom downstairs, and even up here on floor 14, we'll have people dancing and celebrating. And sometimes it gets pretty loud. In fact, a few years ago, we had somebody call down from floor 14 saying, hey, can you turn down the music? It's really loud down there. We're like, yeah, we're having a party. You want us to turn down the music? How about you move to a lower floor next time? Should have thought of that before booking your room. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff that goes down sometimes. Now, as far as the history of this room, this is all speculation, because there are no records from when this hotel was, built back in 1926. So we do want know what happened in any of these rooms. But I like to imagine what it would have been like to stay in a room like this 100 years ago. For example, the carpet in all the rooms is original to the building. It was only replaced once in the 1970s. So when someone walks through these doors, they're stepping on the same carpet that was here when this hotel opened. The wallpaper was also redone in the 1970s, but the original wallpaper was floral in its back. So the wallpaper you'd see in a room like this would have looked just like this. And the curtains are also original to the building. They were taken down in the 1970s, and they were cleaned and pressed and put back up. So these curtains have been here since 1926. There's a lot of stories about the history of this hotel. I mean, I work here. I hear all the time. I read all the time about all kinds of ghosts and murders and suicides that happened here in the early 1900s. And that's what a lot of people expect when they come through these doors. Like, they expect it to be haunted. They expect there to be ghosts. But I've never experienced anything like that. I've never seen a ghost or had anything creepy happen in this room or any of the other rooms. But there was one employee who was cleaning the windows in this room a few years ago, and she looked out and she saw a ghost. She said it was a man in a top hat. He was standing by the fountain below, and he was staring up at her as she was cleaning the window. And then after a few minutes, he turned around and he walked away. So that was the only time that I know of that anybody has seen a ghost here. It's interesting that this room has a window facing the north. Most of the rooms on this floor face either east or west. The reason why is because most of those rooms are balconies. So it would not make sense to have a balcony facing north because you would be able to see the fireworks from your balcony if it faced north. So that's why most of the rooms on this floor face either east or west. But this room is different. This is like the one room that's facing north. So the last time I checked, this room is available for rent. I think it's $289 a night. But if you want to stay here, you'll gone, have to book it online because the front desk does not have keys to this room. If somebody calls down and says, "Hey, I'd like to book room 1344, we gone, have to put them on hold while we go check the room to make sure that it's clean and ready to go. Because the funny thing is that this room is used for storage during the week. So on Monday through Friday, this room is full of boxes and cleaning supplies and stuff. So if somebody wants to book it for a weekend night, we'll have to go check to make sure that everything is, removed from the room and that it's ready to go for the guest. But if you want to book the last room on floor 13, that's what you do. Just go online and book it.